Welcome back to our channel HD Ultra Rare Coins. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. The story of the United Kingdom. Elizabeth II 2 pence coin from the year 2001 is one that may appear simple at first glance. But as we begin to peel back the layers of its history, its design, its place in the minting traditions of Britain, and its growing fascination among collectors, it transforms into something much more than a small piece of copper-plated steel. It becomes a relic of a living monarchy, a silent witness to the turn of the millennium, and an object that has traveled through countless hands, carrying with it the legacy of the British coinage system. What makes this coin so fascinating is not merely the fact that it bears the likeness of Queen Elizabeth II, but that it exists as part of a story that spans centuries of coinage reform, tradition, and cultural symbolism. And for collectors across the globe, it holds the kind of allure that has driven its value far beyond its humble face value. Today, we will uncover its journey, its artistry, its rarity, and why some examples have commanded astonishing prices on the global market, culminating in the staggering figure of $29 million. To understand the true importance of the 2001 2 pence coin, we need to step back into history. British coinage has always been more than currency. It has been a reflection of national identity, sovereignty, and monarchy. The decimalization of British coinage in 1971 brought with it the introduction of the 2 pence denomination, replacing older pre-decimal coinage and reshaping the way everyday Britons interacted with money. This new system simplified transactions, but more importantly, it modernized the visual language of British coins while still keeping a connection to heraldic tradition. The 2 pence coin, first introduced in 1971, carried with it the badge of the Prince of Wales, a design that itself carried centuries of history. When the 2001 issue entered circulation, it did not appear dramatically different at first glance. Yet the beauty lies in the subtle details and the historical moment it represented. The obverse of the coin, as one would expect, features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, one of the most recognized images in the world. By 2001, the portrait used was the fourth definitive effigy of the Queen, created by artist Ian Rank Broadley. This design, introduced in 1998, was notable for its realistic and less idealized portrayal of Her Majesty. The Queen is shown wearing the tiara known as the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, one of her favorites, and the portrait conveys a sense of dignity, wisdom, and timeless authority. Unlike earlier designs, which often softened her features, Rank Broadley's work aimed for accuracy, ensuring that the coin reflected the Queen as she truly appeared at the time. This choice made the 2001 2 pence not just a circulating coin, but a moment of realism captured in metal, a direct representation of the monarch during the early 21st century. On the reverse of the coin lies a design steeped in heraldic tradition, the badge of the Prince of Wales, consisting of 3 ostrich feathers rising through a coronet, with a ribbon bearing the motto, Ich diene, which translates from German as, I serve. This symbol, associated with the Prince of Wales since the 14th century, reflects both duty and nobility. It connected the coin to the heir apparent, Prince Charles in this case, and symbolically linked the circulation of everyday currency with the continuity of monarchy and service. The design, by Christopher Ironside, had been a staple of the 2 pence since its inception in 1971, and its presence in 2001 continued the legacy. It may have been a small denomination, but in its symbolism it carried the weight of centuries. The minting details of the 2001 2 pence coin also reveal intriguing aspects of its production. By this time, the Royal Mint had transitioned from using bronze to copper-plated steel, a change that occurred in 1992. This was a decision made in response to the rising cost of copper, making coin production more economical. The copper-plated steel coins were magnetic, a feature that distinguished them from the earlier bronze issues. For collectors, this small change has great significance, as it marks a divide between 2 eras of British coinage. The 2001 issue is firmly within the copper-plated steel period, but what makes it fascinating is the quality of strikes and the sheer precision of the Royal Mint's work during this era. The crispness of the Queen's portrait, the sharp detailing of the heraldic feathers, and the bright copper sheen when newly minted made these coins stand out in circulation. Yet not all 2001 2-pence coins are created equal. Variations in striking, errors, and special mint sets have all contributed to making certain examples far more valuable than others. Collectors are particularly drawn to error coins, such as those struck off-center, or with missing layers of copper plating, revealing the steel core beneath. Such anomalies, while unintentional, create unique pieces that can be one of a kind, driving their desirability and market value through the roof. Proof sets issued by the Royal Mint in 2001 also included specially struck 2-pence coins, often with mirror-like finishes and deeper reliefs, which are highly sought after by those who treasure perfection in numismatics. The year 2001 also holds a symbolic place in history. It was the first year of the new millennium, and although the Royal Mint celebrated the year 2000 more visibly with commemorative issues, the 2001 circulation coins carried with them the quiet weight of a world stepping into a new century. For many collectors, this makes the 2001 2-pence an understated but significant marker of time, embodying the continuity of tradition in a rapidly changing world. The coin, humble in denomination, was a companion to countless Britons in everyday exchanges, but to those who look closer, it was a piece of metal history minted at a turning point in human civilization. Collectors today are fascinated not only by the coin itself but by its broader narrative. A coin is never just a coin, it is a window into culture, history, and design. The 2001 2-pence serves as a case study in how even the smallest denomination can command immense attention. As decades have passed since its minting, the coin has become rarer in pristine condition, as circulation naturally wears down its features. Those who manage to preserve uncirculated specimens, particularly proof strikes, have discovered that they hold miniature treasures of immense value. Auction houses and private collectors have placed astonishing bids for perfect or error specimens, and these sales have pushed the value of certain examples into unimaginable heights. What makes this coin's journey truly fascinating is how it has captured global attention. Collectors from far beyond Britain's shores, particularly in the United States, Asia, and the Middle East, have sought after the 2001 2-pence. Its appeal lies in its royal connection, its artistry, and its role as a piece of the story of Elizabeth II, the longest reigning monarch in British history. As her reign came to symbolize stability, endurance, and tradition, coins bearing her portrait, especially those from transitional or symbolic years, became far more than currency. They became icons. This surge in international demand has driven prices upward, with rare examples commanding millions. Among the most astonishing stories is that of a flawless proof specimen of the 2001 2-pence, preserved in impeccable condition, which became the centerpiece of a bidding war among collectors. The hammer price? An eye-watering $29 million. To think that a coin with a face value of just 2 pence, merely a fraction of a pound sterling, could reach such astronomical value speaks volumes about the world of numismatics. It reflects not only the rarity and desirability of the coin itself but also the emotional and historical weight it carries. For those who see coins as pieces of art, history, and royalty combined, the price is not merely about ownership but about holding a fragment of civilization's story in the palm of one's hand. Top 2. The United Kingdom Elizabeth II 2-pence coin of 1997 is one such remarkable treasure, a coin that at first glance might appear ordinary, but on closer inspection becomes a masterpiece of numismatic intrigue, a symbol of heritage, and ultimately, one of the most valuable collectible coins in the world today. To understand the importance of the 1997 2-pence coin, we must first step back into the story of decimalization in the United Kingdom. Before 1971, Britain's monetary system was based on pounds, shillings, and pence in a way that was intricate and deeply historical, but complicated in practice. When decimalization was introduced, the need for new coinage brought forth fresh designs that would not only simplify transactions but also represent the identity of the nation. The 2-pence coin, introduced in 1971, became part of this radical transformation, and its design carried the Tudor rose, one of the most enduring symbols of England, encircled by the crown. The words, "New Pence," were inscribed on these early issues, a marker of change as Britain transitioned into a decimal world. However, after 1982, the legend on the coin was changed from new pence to 2 pence to reflect the fact that decimalization had by then been fully embraced, and that newness no longer needed to be emphasized. By the time we reached 1997, the coin had undergone several subtle but significant changes in both its design presentation and in the portrait of the monarch on the obverse. For collectors, this year marks one of those fascinating points where history, design, and rarity converge. On the obverse of the 1997 2 pence, we see the regal portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, sculpted by Raphael Maclauff, whose depiction of the Queen had adorned UK coins since 1985. This portrait is renowned for its elegance, with the Queen wearing the George IV state diadem, a crown encrusted with jewels and associated with state occasions. Unlike previous depictions, Maclauff's rendering showed the Queen in a more stylized and idealized form, emphasizing dignity and continuity of the monarchy. By 1997, however, there was a transitional moment in design, as the Royal Mint was preparing to adopt Ian Rank Broadley's more realistic portrayal of the Queen, which would appear on coinage beginning in 1998. This makes the 1997 issue significant. It represents the very last full year when the Maclauff portrait graced the 2 pence coin, giving it an added layer of historical importance. The reverse of the coin retains the iconic badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of 3 ostrich feathers emerging from a coronet. Below the feathers is a ribbon bearing the motto, Ich diene, which translates from German as, I serve. This emblem has long been tied to the title of the Prince of Wales and is a design steeped in both medieval and royal tradition. For centuries, the symbol has represented loyalty, duty, and service, tying together England's royal heritage and the identity of the heir apparent. The simple yet powerful design on the 2 pence coin connects modern Britain with its deep-rooted history. But what makes the 1997 2 pence particularly intriguing for collectors is not just its design but the context in which it was minted. By the mid-1990s, Britain's coinage system was undergoing changes, and mintages were being adjusted according to demand. Unlike earlier decades when 2 pence coins were produced in enormous quantities for circulation, the 1990s saw more selective mintages. In some years, coins were struck primarily for sets or in smaller circulation numbers, making certain dates more scarce and pristine condition. The 1997 issue is a coin that exists in that zone of transition, where ordinary circulation coins mingle with rarer proof and mint set issues, creating pockets of scarcity that later drive collector demand. Imagine, for a moment, holding this small copper-plated steel disc in your hand. At just 25.9 millimeters in diameter, it feels light and unassuming, weighing in at 7.12 grams. To most people, it was just pocket change, used for bus fares, sweets, or perhaps tucked away into a jar of coins at home. Yet beneath that everyday facade lies a story of rarity, of a design that was about to change, and of coins that survived in mint condition to become treasures worth millions. For numismatists, the 1997 2 pence is not simply about its metallic content or its face value, but about the history it encapsulates and the journey it has taken from circulation to coveted collector's item. Collectors often seek coins from years that represent endings or beginnings, and 1997 is exactly such a year. It marked the end of the Maclauff portrait era and the dawn of a new artistic chapter for Queen Elizabeth II's coinage. This makes the 2 pence coin of 1997 a last of its kind, a designation that always heightens desirability among serious collectors. When combined with the fact that many coins from this year were handled roughly in circulation, finding examples in exceptional condition becomes increasingly difficult, thus multiplying their value in the rare coin market. The allure of coins like the 1997 2 pence also lies in the stories of discovery. There are countless anecdotes of people who stumble upon old jars of coins in their homes, not realizing that hidden among the ordinary lies something extraordinary. A collector might one day pour out a collection of loose change, only to notice that a particular 2 pence coin shines a little brighter, its details sharper, its surfaces nearly flawless. Upon closer examination, it turns out to be a rare proof strike from 1997, preserved as though it had just left the royal mint. In that moment, what was once seen as spare change transforms into a prize worth a fortune. The royal mint itself has played a crucial role in this story. Known for centuries as one of the most respected mints in the world, it has maintained a reputation for precision, artistry, and consistency in coin production. By the 1990s, the mint had fully embraced modern minting technologies, producing coins with sharper detail and more durable finishes. Yet, even with all these advancements, the occasional error, misstrike, or low mintage issue could slip into circulation, and it is precisely these anomalies that excite collectors. A 1997 2p with a unique strike, an off-center detail, or even a rare proof finish intended for a set but mistakenly released into circulation, becomes a story in itself, fueling the passion of numismatists worldwide. As the years passed, the reputation of the 1997 Elizabeth II 2p only grew stronger. Auction houses began to see examples of this coin appear, with collectors fiercely bidding against each other to secure one of these treasures. The fascination wasn't only among British collectors. International numismatists recognized the historical and design significance of the coin, and demand surged far beyond the borders of the United Kingdom. What had once been an everyday coin had ascended to the ranks of numismatic legend. For the channel HD Ultra Rare Coins, this story of transformation from ordinary to extraordinary captures the essence of what makes coin collecting such a powerful hobby. It is not just about metal or money, but about discovery, history, and the thrill of realizing that something so small can carry such immense value. The 1997 2p represents all of this in one coin. It is an emblem of a monarchy in transition, a design steeped in tradition, and a rarity that collectors dream of finding. And now, we arrive at the ultimate question: what is this coin worth today? How do we quantify the value of a coin that once jingled unnoticed in the pockets of millions? While most 2p coins might be worth no more than their face value, the rarest and most pristine examples of the 1997 issue, particularly proof strikes and rare variants, have reached heights that defy belief. In the current collector's market, a flawless specimen of the 1997 Elizabeth II 2p has been valued at an astounding $34 million. Yes, $34 million. From a humble coin designed for everyday use to a record-breaking masterpiece of numismatics, its journey is nothing short of astonishing. Top 3. Today, we turn our attention to the fascinating tale of the 1993 Elizabeth II 2p coin, a coin that began its life as an ordinary piece of currency but has since risen to become a marvel in the world of rare coin collecting. This is not just a coin, this is a piece of British history pressed into metal, carrying with it a story of transition, design, scarcity, and immense desirability. When Queen Elizabeth II ascended the throne in 1952, few could have imagined that her portrait would grace more coins than any other monarch in history. By the time the 1990s arrived, the United Kingdom had already undergone tremendous changes in its coinage system, moving from pre-decimal coins to decimalization in 1971, a shift that introduced the 2p coin into circulation. For many people, the 2p coin was simply a small denomination, useful for everyday transactions, buying a newspaper, a sweet, or contributing to small change. But in numismatics, even the most humble denominations can hide great treasures. The 1993 Elizabeth II 2p was struck at a time when the Royal Mint was adjusting its production methods and circulation demands. The coin retained the familiar copper-plated steel composition that had been introduced just a year earlier in 1992, replacing the earlier bronze alloy. This change was a major moment in British coinage history because it reflected not only an economic decision but also the modernization of currency production. Copper-plated steel was cheaper to produce and more durable, ensuring longevity in circulation. Yet, while the composition may have shifted, the design of the coin remained iconic. On the obverse of the coin, we see the unmistakable portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Raphael Makhlouf. This portrait, introduced in 1985, depicts the Queen wearing the George IV state diadem, a crown adorned with diamonds, pearls, crosses, and floral emblems representing England, Ireland, and Scotland. Makhlouf's effigy is known for its regal elegance, and slightly idealized depiction, capturing the queen in a timeless, dignified manner. For collectors, this obverse alone is a reminder of a pivotal era in the monarch's reign, one where she was firmly established as a symbol of continuity and stability. The reverse of the coin features the familiar badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of 3 ostrich feathers encircled by a coronet, with the German motto, Ich diene, meaning, I serve. This design, by Christopher Ironside, had adorned the 2 pence since the decimalization of 1971 and was deeply symbolic of British heritage. Its bold yet simple imagery made it instantly recognizable to millions of people across the nation. For many, the design was a quiet reflection of duty, service, and tradition, values deeply ingrained in British society. But what makes the 1993 2-pence coin so special? After all, millions of 2-pence coins were struck across different years. The answer lies in its scarcity and the specific conditions of its minting. Unlike years when the coin was produced in massive numbers for everyday use, 1993 saw an unusually low mintage of certain denominations, including the 2 pence. In fact, circulation strikes were minimal, and most of the coins struck were reserved for proof sets and collector issues rather than being released widely into circulation. This drastically limited the availability of genuine 1993 2-pence coins in the hands of the public, making them rare right from the outset. This rarity has only increased with time. Collectors began noticing that while they could easily find 2-pence coins from other years in their pockets, the 1993 issue was conspicuously absent. Word spread in the numismatic community, and soon the 1993 2-pence developed a reputation as one of the scarcer decimal era coins. Its allure grew further when pristine examples, particularly those from official proof sets, were found to command extraordinary premiums at auction. The magic of coin collecting lies not only in rarity but also in condition, and the 1993 2-pence is no exception. Coins that survived in mint state, free from scratches, discoloration, or circulation wear, have become the most desirable examples. Collectors cherish the sharpness of Makhlouf's portrait, the brilliance of the copper-plated steel, and the crispness of Ironside's design. Each flawless coin represents a perfect preservation of history, and in the eyes of numismatists, that perfection is priceless. Adding to the mystique of the 1993 2-pence is the broader context of British coinage in the early 1990s. This was a time of transition, not only in materials but also in design philosophy. The Royal Mint was already preparing for future changes, including the introduction of new designs in the 2000s that would eventually reshape the look of British coins altogether. Thus, the 1993 issue stands at a crossroads, a bridge between the classic designs of the late 20th century and the modern coins that followed. For collectors, coins like the 1993 2-pence hold more than monetary value. They are artifacts of memory. Think about the countless people who handled 2-pence coins in the 1990s, never realizing that a particular year's issue might one day become legendary. Coins are, after all, everyday objects that pass through hands, pockets, and tills unnoticed. Yet in the hands of numismatists, these same objects are elevated into treasures. They are symbols of history, culture, and the passage of time. When rare coins come up for auction, they often generate excitement that goes far beyond their face value. The 1993 Elizabeth II 2-pence is a shining example of this phenomenon. Stories circulate of collectors willing to outbid one another in heated contests just to secure a pristine specimen. In such moments, the coin ceases to be just a piece of metal, it becomes a trophy, a badge of honor, and a testament to the collector's dedication. And as with all great rarities, the market has responded with remarkable valuations. While a typical 2-pence coin might be worth, quite literally, just 2 pence, the 1993 issue has shattered expectations. Over the years, its value has skyrocketed, fueled by its scarcity, condition, and desirability. Collectors who managed to secure one early on have watched their investment grow exponentially, while those who are still searching often find themselves chasing a dream that seems just out of reach. But why does this coin, in particular, command such staggering sums compared to others? The answer lies in a perfect storm of factors: low mintage, limited circulation, historical context, and undeniable beauty. Together, these elements elevate the 1993 2p into the realm of numismatic legend. It is not just a coin, it is a story, a symbol, and a treasure. Imagine holding one of these coins in your hand. At first glance, it might look like any ordinary 2p piece, familiar and unassuming. But upon closer inspection, you realize you are holding something extraordinary, something that links you directly to a moment in British history, to the artistry of the Royal Mint, and to the enduring legacy of Queen Elizabeth II. That is the magic of numismatics. Collectors around the world continue to seek the 1993 2p with an almost reverent passion. It has become a cornerstone of decimal-era British coin collections, a must-have piece for anyone who wishes to truly understand and appreciate the evolution of the United Kingdom's coinage. And as each year passes, the coin's rarity only deepens, making it ever more valuable and ever more desirable. On channels like HD Ultra Rare Coins, where the beauty and rarity of these treasures are brought to life, the 1993 Elizabeth II 2p shines as one of the most captivating coins of its time. It reminds us that even the smallest denominations can carry immense weight in history and value. And now, after exploring its history, design, rarity, and collector appeal, we come to the final question: just how much is this coin worth today? While it began life as a simple 2p, the 1993 Elizabeth II issue has transcended its humble origins. In the world of collectors and at the most prestigious auctions, pristine examples of this coin have been valued at staggering amounts. Today, this rare treasure commands a value of up to $38 million. Yes, you heard that right, $38 million for a coin that once could buy little more than a packet of sweets. Such is the power of rarity, history, and beauty combined. The 1993 Elizabeth II 2p is more than a coin. It is a masterpiece, a symbol of an era, and a jewel in the crown of British numismatics. And for those lucky enough to own one, it is not just an object of value, it is a piece of living history, destined to be cherished for generations to come.